Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Say Less Basketball Podcast. I'm Zach, the host, as always, joined with my co-creators here, Mohammed Daffleseed, Will Donzella. Talking about the playoffs this week, getting up there in the episodes. I think this is got to be episode
19, I think.
19 now, almost in episode 20. So almost a full season of episodes. It's pretty crazy. But obviously, first things first, we got to talk about the playoffs. These interesting series. There was just the Game 7 Clippers Mavericks one that wrapped up everything recently. The first round is over. And we all had different predictions and whatnot. I think we're all we got to get into the Suns Lakers one first. I think right off the bat because there's so much to talk about, and we all had the Lakers winning this one, sadly. But obviously the AD and Chris Paul injuries had played a big factor. But your thoughts, Will? You were highly favoring the Lakers. Said Lakers in 5 multiple times. You have anything to say? Anything?
I mean, I think. Go on. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think they would have won in 5 if AD plays, but AD just couldn't go. I mean,
that's true.
It's so clear to me that the Lakers go as AD goes. It's LeBron's not the best player on this team anymore. He just isn't. Anthony Davis is. I have some questions about Drummond not playing in the last game and a little bit in the game before. I get it. There were some issues, but especially if AD is not there, it's like Drummond needs to play. But I mean, oh God, dude, there's no excuse, right? Because the 2 and he didn't do much. He was not doing much. He was pretty clutch, I would say, in the last game, and you wouldn't see that on a stat sheet really, but he made an impact. I'll give him that. But the LeBron's got to be better, right? LeBron was terrible in Game 6 by his own standards. All right, I know everybody's gonna look at his stats and be like, well, he had 13 rebounds, 7 assists, 28 points, or whatever. Shot horribly from the field.
Mm-hmm.
But Mohammed, I know you know this. I don't know if I didn't talk to you about this, Zach, but I know Mohammed did. This man quit. He quit on his team. He quit, bro. That's wild to me. That's wild. And then he complained about everything. Oh my God, dude, the last game was insane to me. It's just the Lakers. I have a lot more to go, but I'll let you guys give your takes. I got a lot more analysis on this.
Yep. I was gonna say right off the bat, Stephen A. Smith, I remember he said, "Oh, this is," and everybody was hyping this game up, the last game, because they were saying it's gonna be, "Oh, he's great in elimination games. He's gonna prove it. He's the GOAT."
Yep. Yeah.
He didn't, bro. He got bounced, and he was not good that last game. There was that sequence where he turned the ball over multiple times. Man, he just fell apart. And in my opinion, if Jordan was in that situation, he gets it done. I think that he brings that team back and wins. But that's a different debate. But still, is this damaging to LeBron's legacy because it's his first playoff loss? The LeBron fans can't hold that against Jordan fans now. And then this is just another tough one because he's getting up there in the ages, obviously, and every year is a chance and an opportunity or a chance to chase Jordan again. So this is just a tough one for the Lakers fans, especially after last year, and then the Clippers moving on as well. So Lakers fans down atrocious, bro.
Yikes. Guess who's living in the basement now, huh?
Oh my God.
Still got 17 championships. So.
I was about to say.
You talk about the past, bro.
I don't know. That's what I'm just saying. That's what they be saying.
Past. Talk about the future.
Your thoughts,
right now.
Sir Daffleseed, Sir Mohammed?
Well, I did pick the Lakers to win the series before the Chris Paul injury before Anthony Davis, but
Yeah.
obviously things changed. I'm not really a big LeBron fan, and I don't really like Lakers at all. So I'm happy they lost, but at the same time, I just think the whole LeBron can carry a team narrative should be put to bed the rest of his career because obviously he can't anymore. It's just funny to me because I just see LeBron fans' excuses on social media. Before the game, I think it was game 5 or 6, they brought up the Boston game in 2012 when he was down 3-2 and he came in there, dropped 45 and just was, unstoppable. So everybody thought he was going to do something like that, and he didn't. He did nothing like that at all. So it's just funny to me. So because he was getting MVP shouts all season, everybody's talking about how he's 36 but still, the best player in the world, and he didn't seem like that those last 2 games against the Suns. So
nope,
it's just funny to me. I'm just waiting for next season if he comes out there first 10 games and have just like close to triple double, and everybody's gonna be like, oh, he's 37, he's 19th year, he's still the best player in the world, and something else like this can happen again next season. We'll see what the excuses are then.
Facts, man. The AD will be hurt by Western Conference Finals take. He nailed that shit, dude. Oh man,
that's AD, bro. Zach, I want to talk about the legacy aspect of this, all right? Because it does matter. Here's the thing, all right? I watched Undisputed, I watched First Take, all this crap right after this game, right? Because it's just gold. It's an absolute gold mine after games like this. And the first thing Kendrick Perkins says, the very first thing, is he blames the role players. If that's not signifying what a LeBron James fan is like, I don't know what does, because that's exactly what they all do every time. It's never LeBron's fault. It's never the leader's fault. It's the role player's fault, right? Extreme case. But if America has some crazy situation and that we get into, and it's because the government did something, who's going to get blamed? It's going to be Joe Biden, or it's going to be Donald Trump, whoever, in the past, Barack Obama. The leaders get blamed.
Yes.
They take a brunt of the blame. Yes. All right. So I thought it was hilarious because KP starts mentioning, they needed Danny Green, the Rajon Rondo, Dwight Howard, all these guys from last year. The same guys that got ridiculed. All right. Yep. Danny Green was absolutely scorched for missing one three-pointer. Yep. He got absolutely destroyed for that.
Yep.
You're talking about these role players. First of all, this Lakers team is better than the team last year. It's better, in my opinion. So? I think so, because Dennis Schroeder is amazing. He's that good. And Montrezl Harrell is that good. You have to remember, Dennis Schroeder,
or at least they should be, right? Yeah.
Almost most improved. He was in the running for most improved last year.
Yep.
And he averaged 20 points per game on the Thunder, granted, but still, he can ball. Montrezl Harrell won Sixth Man of the Year. Again, he won. He scored 20 points per game. Both those guys scored 20 or around that last year on Clippers and Thunder. And then they come to the Lakers and look like they can't play basketball. Yep. All right. Something has to be said, because every team LeBron goes to, every single one of them, it's the role players' fault. All of them suddenly can't play basketball. They don't know how to play. You're going to tell me after 10 to 15 years or whatever that it's always just the role players can't play? It's not. You're not going to look at the common denominator. All right.
Same excuse every time.
Here's the reason Dennis Schroeder couldn't play. He's a ball dominant player. He needs the ball in his hand. Well, that's not going to happen with LeBron. Right? We know how this is. LeBron turns you kind of into a spot up shooter. All right. That's just a reality of the situation. We saw Derrick Rose go to the Cavs, and granted, he's had a few injuries, but like D Rose is known for his slashing, getting to the basket, crazy finishes, and he just became a spot up shooter. This is what happens. This is why some players don't work with him. All right. Kevin Love, great example. Again, I've talked about it a million times on this show, right? Kevin Love 25 and like 14 the year before he got to the Cavs. Gets to the Cavs, can't even post up. Can't post up Kevin Durant in the finals. Are you kidding me? Really? Come on. It's just this narrative has to. I can't believe people don't look at it deeper. I just can't, because if it happens every year over and over again, you start to think, oh, well, maybe it isn't that. That's the definition of insanity. If you do something over and over again, but expect a different result.
Yep.
It's kind of what's going on here. I'm sorry, I had to rant about this. All right. Because when I heard Kendrick Perkins say that, I was like, oh God.
Yep.
And the role players for the Lakers weren't terrible. They were pretty bad in one game, and it's just by scoring, because you just look at scoring. That's really all anybody cares about. But in the last game, the role players scored, man. They were not bad. LeBron was the one that was bad. I know he had 20 points, but it took him like 28 shots or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep. And then when they do win, it's because LeBron lifted the playmakers up, or the role players up. It's because,
LeBron makes them better.
them.
How does he make them better? Literally every player that people say play better with him gets better when they leave. I mean, just off the top of my head, Julius Randle, that's one.
Clarkson,
Lonzo Ball,
Ingram,
Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance. I mean, like, people will say stuff like Kyrie Irving never would have been what he was. Kyrie was a dog, all right? Kyrie was going to be a dog.
He wouldn't have come back to Cleveland if Kyrie wasn't there. Fact.
Exactly. Exactly. LeBron's not coming back unless Kyrie and Kevin Love are coming.
Right.
So I wish I had my notes. I can't see them because obviously my laptop's dead. Because I think I had a lot more to say, but
that was crazy.
Do you think the Lakers should run it back with the same team? I know Dennis Schroeder possibly is not going to be on the team since he wants a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
and he announced before that last game that he was leaving, I think.
And he said after he wanted to run it back.
Man.
Yeah, I saw two different things, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
They'll run it back. No, what'll happen is, here's the other thing I want to point out, Zach. All right. So the narrative with the role players here. I'm sorry I'm ranting so much, guys, but I have to get it all. I have to get it off my chest. Right. Chest days tomorrow, so I need to have it fresh.
Oh my God.
But it's always the rosters that LeBron has around him are never good enough. Blah blah blah. All right. So the Lakers put all their eggs in one basket, right? To get AD. That's it. They put all their eggs to get him, and then they got Drummond as well, somewhere kind of, but they didn't need to do anything, right? Because he was a free agent, right? He was released to free agency, yeah. But they did everything they could to get AD. Isn't that a little familiar, Mohammed, Zach? I know we've talked about the Cavs way back when, trading literally everybody to get a reasonable team around LeBron that they thought was reasonable at the time. Yeah. So who'd they trade in there? Was it Jordan Clarkson and those boys that they got from the Lakers, or I can't remember.
I know they traded. I know Nance was
involved. You talking about
Larry Nance?
You talking about when he had D Wade and D Rose and they traded all those guys?
The young
people. Yeah, that was 2018.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, okay. So
I remember that.
So then you can look at the Heat too. You look at the Cavs, the Lakers, and I said it when LeBron joined the Lakers. I'm like, say goodbye to all the young players. They're getting shipped out immediately. I know that's gonna happen.
Facts.
Now here's the thing though. You got to expect results if that happens. All right. They won last year in the bubble. I personally view that championship as a bit of a asterisk because it was the worst. It was the worst champion. It was the worst finals I've ever seen in my life. Honestly, I couldn't have cared less about it. It was just boring, and the bubble was just trash. But
exhibition.
Let's look at the Warriors. All right, the Warriors did the same thing, and although a lot of people were saying that, it's a wrap, they're going to win every year. People were also saying that they were giving up a lot to get KD, and they're like, oh, I don't know, blah blah blah. They thinned out their roster, right? That was basically the thing. But they still won, and they made the finals every year.
Yep.
Same thing here, all right? The Lakers thin out their roster to get one player. You got to get it done, all right? Yep. So I only said that because I saw people making that argument that, oh, the Lakers roster is just not deep enough. Well, that's because you trade everybody to get Anthony Davis. I mean, that trade was absurd. That was literally an absurd trade.
Yep.
So what do you think's going to happen? Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Goofbacks. No, I think there's going to be I think Kuzma's gone. I think they're going to get I think he's going to trade Kuzma in the offseason because Kuzma has just been god awful, and he predicted at the start of the season that Kuzma was going to take a leap, and bro did not take a leap in the slightest. So I think he's going to be gone, and they're going to try and get anything they can to Kuzma. We'll see with Dennis and Harrell if they get moved as well. But Harrell didn't play enough, I think, and Dennis didn't really adjust. I mean, he played, decent basketball this whole season, but when it push comes to shove, it didn't work. So I definitely think Kuzma is going to get traded. I definitely think his ass is gone, just because he's been so bad.
Well overdue.
It's kind of tough that they got rid of Randall and Lonzo and
Larry Nance.
And then
Larry Nance got rid
of. The only young player they ended up with was Kuzma. So that is a bit tough. That's why I see the Lakers. I think they're going to make some moves over the offseason here, and then they'll come back with a new team. I don't think they're going to stay the same because it's LeBron, and he always his team isn't equipped enough. That's what I have to say.
Would they ever consider trading LeBron to you guys?
Definitely not, bro. Definitely not.
Yeah,
he brings so much attention to the Lakers. It's not going to happen. No, not with Genie busted behind the scenes.
He's built for LA.
Facts.
Yeah.
And now he's settling with his Space Jam career too. Nah, he's not going to get dealt. No, or leave.
You didn't see Kobe doing that stuff. He focused on the championship. So.
Facts. All right.
Kobe waiting.
Well, as who said it? I think it was like Stephen A. said or Max Kellerman said, LA is not for everyone.
Yeah.
A lot of distractions.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough.
Mm-hmm. Any last comments on LeBron and the Lakers as they dip out to Cancun for the offseason?
I'm tired of talking, man.
All right. Speaking of best players in the playoffs and players who have not stepped up in the playoffs, Clippers and first off, I want to talk about the Suns because we just talked about the Lakers. Do you guys where are the Suns going now? Are they gonna
Conference finals?
Probably the conference finals. Will?
Yeah. I think that this next series will be the best series. Personally, I just think it'll be a good series.
You think they can get past the Nuggets? I think so.
Yeah, now that they got past the Lakers, I'm having them go to the conference finals.
I think so as well. Yeah, we're all in agreement on there.
I want them to.
Me too. Booker.
Also, yeah. Devin Booker showed up.
Yep,
he showed up when it mattered.
He showed up. Facts.
That man.
Facts. All right, quick on the Suns there, but
man.
We'll see what Phoenix has left in store. But speaking of players who have stepped up and stepped down this playoffs, the Clippers, the other LA team, and the Mavericks recently finished a Game 7 series. And Kawhi Leonard is looking like the best player in the world right now, solely based off that series. I mean, the man dominated Game 6 and Game 7 and somehow overcame Luka Doncic's crazy performances, and they gave him insane respect. And PG has stepped up and probably is given the pandemic playoff P nickname back to Kristaps Porzingis because Porzingis is not a not a good second option, and he's not a good second superstar, and he did not play well that whole series.
Nope.
And then he complained about it.
So the Clippers play the Jazz next round. Mohammed, you said the Jazz first round exit. I'm sorry. That's a bold take. That did not work out, but it was still bold though. Respect. But they play the Jazz next. And as you all know the Jazz are the 1 seed in the West. But I see this next series. I see this. Shout out to. I mean, Luca just played his heart out. The Mavericks obviously have to have somebody else. They'll probably sign a supermax this season, but they have to have somebody else to come in and help Porzingis. But I see the Clippers. Standing by my bold take from previously, I see the Clippers winning this series against the Jazz in 7. And then I see them winning the Western Conference Finals versus anyone who comes out of the Nuggets Suns series. And then I see them winning that series. And I see them going to the finals and winning the finals. So that's my take on the Clippers. I think they can get it done this year, especially without the Lakers there to pressure them. And especially after coming out of a tough first round which they passed the test and they got it done despite the lack of pressure, which was an element of issue last season. But I think this Clippers team is different. What do you guys think? Do you think this Clippers-Mavericks rivalry is something to look forward in the future? What are your thoughts on this series overall?
I thought it was a good series. I watched half the games. I didn't get to watch the first 2, but I watched the rest. But I just got to say, Luka, man, that man's going to be he's going to be a beast in the future. Yep. I mean, he's already a beast, but he's only 22 and he can improve on so much, and he's so good already. But yeah, that guy was unbelievable. If you guys watch him live, dude, it's just his step backs, his his fadeaway one-legged shots, the way he just moves to get his buckets, dude. It's just it's different.
Yeah, emotion.
Yeah, he's not athletic, so just the fact that he still goes by people and still can find a way to score at the rim is just crazy. But I'm just happy the Clippers actually, pulled it off. I'm a big fan of Kawhi, so Game 6, what he did was unbelievable. Game 7 too. I'm happy Paul George actually, he didn't score. He didn't put up big scoring performances last 3 games like Kawhi did, but he did play good defense. He did get like 10 assists Game 7. He was rebounding the ball, doing other stuff other than scoring. So big props to him. Yep. For them, I think playing the Jazz is going to be tough just because the Jazz are kind of built like the Mavericks in terms of 3-point shooting. But they don't have Luka. And Donovan Mitchell's a good player, but I don't think he's going to put up the numbers that Luka did. And Luka's probably the main problem why the Clippers didn't end this series earlier.
Yep.
So I think maybe I originally said 5 games. I think 6 maybe, but I think 5. I'll go with 5 for right now for the Clippers against the Jazz. But we'll have to see. As time with the Mavericks, they gotta get Luka some help, dude. Because Porzingis, dude, if you guys watch the games, this man had Terrence Mann or Markieff Morris guarding him on switches, and he wouldn't post up. He would drive to the rim, but there'd always be like some pull up from like 10 feet out or something. He didn't actually post up as much.
Right.
There was this one, I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, but there was this fast break. I think they got off of steals. Porzingis and some other guy, I think it was Finney Smith. And there was a 2-on-1 fast break, and this man pulled up for a 3. It was crazy, man. It's pathetic. So either trade Porzingis or just, I don't know, sign a big free agent, but Porzingis is not the number 2 that Luka needs. It's more of a 3 to me. So if I was Mark Cuban, I would push for that this summer.
Facts. Big facts. Will?
Well, I got to be fair because if I'm going to criticize, like Kevin Love's downfall when he went to play with LeBron, I personally think Luka has like a similar kind of impact or play style as LeBron. I know not literally play style. Muhammad and I talked about that. He doesn't play the same game, but he plays like ball dominant, run the offense through him kind of ball. So maybe that affected Kristaps. The only difference is Kristaps willingly only took like jumpers. Yeah. It's not like that was like they were saying, hey, go sit in the corner. Maybe they were because he said there was no game plan or no plays set for him. I don't know. If that's the case, I can kind of feel for him and maybe see why his impact was a little less. Right. So maybe he's just not meant to be on the team. But if they I still watch the game and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Right. Because even if there's no play for you and you get a freaking point guard on you and you decide to take a 3, I'd probably bench you. Honestly, I'm surprised he didn't get benched and Andre Drummond was the one that got benched. But as for this series, the Mavs Clippers, I personally wanted the Mavs to win. I know you guys both wanted the Clippers, but I just love Luka. I would have loved to see that underdog story. Personally,
Yeah.
I don't think this should have gone to 7 games. The Clippers are a lot better than the Mavericks. They're a lot better. And I told you, Mohammed, last night, I still stand by this. And I know Stephen A or Max or whoever, maybe Shannon today was saying this too. I think the Clippers have the best roster in the NBA. They, to me, up and down, talent-wise, have the best roster. They may not play the best, but in terms of how deep they are, I think this is the best team in the NBA. So I do have them going to the finals as well now.
Mm-hmm.
I think this will, without the Lakers, I don't think anybody can even kind of compete with them. I also would have them losing or beating the Jazz in 5 games. Here's the thing, though. I looked at the stats in games because Mohammed, you said last week, you said the reason the Mavs are going to lose is because Luka's teammates won't hit shots, which, is kind of like intuitive, right? If your teammates don't hit shots, obviously you're going to lose. But like it really, really was the case for them because in games they lost, they shot like 20% from 3 or something. One game they shot like 13%. Then the last game they lost, they shot like 30%, which is it's not terrible. I mean, it's bad, but it's not atrocious. So it was really 3 because in games they won, they shot like 50% from 3. That's a huge difference. So that really was the case for the Mavericks. And then in the last 2 games, the Clippers really showed their depth. All right. They really showed their depth and their defensive dominance because that's how the Clippers win. I said it last week. I said the Clippers were struggling with the Mavericks because they were trying to play the Mavs style of basketball, which is score, score, score. Mavericks don't want to play defense at all. They don't. That's why Josh Richardson doesn't play. They don't want a single defender on the court. And so the Clippers were trying to play that style, but the Clippers are a defensive team, and they showed that. And then the Mavericks' lack of depth got exposed. I think in the last game, outside of the starting 5, they had like 5 points, which is you're not going to win. If your bench is putting up 5 points, that's borderline impossible unless you're the Nets who have 3 players putting up 100 points. Right. But the Clippers don't have that because Paul George just kind of shrinks in the playoffs, and Kawhi is, Kawhi, but he ain't putting up 100 points. He's not Will. So to Kawhi Leonard, the man has been sensational. All right. Yep. He was not great in the first 4 games. I mean, he wasn't bad. In the first 2 games, he was not good, in my opinion. Now, he was great in the last 4, especially the last 2. But in game 6, they did what the Knicks didn't do, all right? They made Luka play defense. He was guarding Kawhi Leonard a lot, all right? Yeah. And Kawhi just gave it to him. Luka's not a great defender. So that was smart because on top of the fact that Luka played over 40 minutes every single game this series, which is insane. He's playing AI minutes, literally. He was carrying the boatload of the offense, right? Obviously. But then he had to play defense. And that was just too much, man. He's too young to be able to do this. I mean, to really carry a team through this conference, because it's just too much. It sucks. I hope they get somebody else for him. The LeBron kind of did this at 22, he did. He got the team to the finals, right? So outside of LeBron, it doesn't happen. So they got to get him someone else.
Yep.
Build that roster a little better. They got the coach right, in my opinion. So
yeah, Ricardo.
That's facts. Underrated. Yeah. Underrated. Yep. Facts.
Maybe they should try playing defense. I don't know.
Man.
To be honest, I think their 3-point shooting is kind of like their I don't know what the exact words are, but like it's either what wins them games or what loses them.
They're pitfall.
Game. Yeah. Because they're like game 7, I think the Clippers hit like 17 threes on like 50% shooting, and they only hit like 7 out of like 31 attempts or something. So live by 3, die by 3. Yeah. I think that's kind of how they're built. can say that about a lot
Except
of
you don't
other
have
teams
Steph
too.
Curry and freaking Klay Thompson.
Right, exactly. So
Yikes.
But interesting. One of the better series, shaping up to be a nice rivalry in the future if they meet again. But moving on, the Bucks and the Nets series, I think, is going to be pretty interesting. The Bucks swept the Heat, as we have talked about in the past, and then the Nets obviously made quick work of the Celtics and won in 5 games. And then they recently took the playing tonight, which is Monday, which we're recording in this, and game 2 is tonight. But it's gonna be a close series. They both really good teams, and the Bucks have some weaknesses that they can expose on the Nets. I think this is gonna be another 7-game series, and I'm taking the Bucks in this one. I think that I think the Nets aren't gonna get past this.
He just doesn't want KD winning.
Absolutely. Even if they do get past this, they're gonna lose to the Sixers, in my opinion. I think the Sixers will get out of that.
Sixers got to beat the Hawks, bro.
But taking the Bucks in 7. I think Giannis is gonna step up after they just swept the Heat and had playoff success in that first round, which has been and we'll see if it's sustained here. But I'm taking the Bucks in 7. Bam. Bold take.
Yikes. Well, Will, I don't know what your analysis. I know we kind of talked about it a little bit.
We literally almost had the podcast. We basically had the podcast last night.
Right.
Oh man.
That we've had.
Down.
But game 1, I think the main thing was just me and Will talked about was Kyrie was kind of difference maker just because he didn't go off. I don't think he dropped 40. I think he dropped like 33 or something like that. But he was a difference maker just because KD did his thing, scored 28, 29, whatever, efficiently. Giannis, of course, we knew he dominated. He had 17 or 24 or something.
Yeah, he was insane.
Yeah, still wasn't enough, but I think the difference maker was KD's right-hand man showed up and Giannis's right-hand man didn't show up. Chris Middleton, he shot terrible. Wasn't really doing anything else. Harden, we know, as we all know, went out with a hamstring injury. That's going to be a key thing. But I think if the Nets role players help out KD and Kyrie like they have in game 1 or like they did, I could see the Nets winning in 6. I just don't trust Giannis's help over KD and Kyrie's help. That's my main issue. I know everybody said Giannis is gonna dominate in the paint. That is true, but at the same time, I don't think he can beat him by himself. It's gonna be like another Luka, Maverick situation. Because Kawhi and PG, they didn't show up every game, but at least they held their own. I don't know if Giannis and the Bucks can hold their own, especially with guys like Chris Middleton who show up one game, don't show up the other game. Jrue Holiday, he's not really a prolific scorer, so I don't think he's going to be like a 25 and 10 guy each game in the series. So it's going to be tough. I mean, maybe Brian Forbes is going to do his thing again.
Man.
outscore Kyrie or something like that. But
Yes,
we'll
sir.
see. But that's my 2 cents.
Well, I didn't think KD was the best player in game 1. And I know I've said many times on this show and before the playoffs that KD is the best player on the team. He's going to be the best player. And I just thought it was Kyrie. And maybe it's just because Kyrie's so freaking flashy. And when I watch him, I'm just so amazed.
Right.
I don't know if that's it. It might be. Because KD's game is it's not boring, but it's just it's just okay. I mean, he just shoots over people. There's literally nothing they can do. So whatever.
Yeah.
Kyrie just finesses everybody on the court. I said it to Mohammed yesterday, Zach. I'm like, Kyrie would be the kind of dude that you'd be on his team, and he would fake you out and pass you the ball, and you would be so confused by what he was doing.
Yep.
That you wouldn't even be ready for it.
Look at
He's
you
that kind of dude.
What are you doing?
Yeah,
what are you doing?
exactly.
Yeah, get mad,
He's that kind of dude. But in my opinion, the Bucks are good enough to win this series if Harden's out. If Harden's in, I would say they don't really have much of a shot. I would say they really don't, but they should win this series if Harden's out, in my opinion. Now, one thing I looked at was they out-rebounded the Nets by, I think it was 9 or 11. I can't remember if it was 59 to 48 rebounds or 59 to 40 or 50 rebounds. I think it was 48, so probably 11. I don't know. You can check. But whatever it was a significant amount to look at it and be like, the Bucks should have won this game. So then I looked at the shooting percentages, and they weren't that different. They were basically the same.
In game one, right?
Yeah. They both shot like 47 or something.
Game one, Nets had 47 rebounds and Bucks had 58.
Okay, so it was 11. Okay,
yeah.
I was off by one number, but 11 rebound difference. You're gonna win most games if you're out rebounding the other team by 11. That's like impossible. And Giannis was sensational, but you gotta find a way to kind of just stop. Oh, well, before I say that is the Nets' depth also showed, all right, because they got a deep roster, and some of those lower guys that really aren't that bad showed up, like Blake Griffin, Claxton had a few good minutes, Joe Harris, obviously. Why am I blanking on Buddy's name? From the clip that played on the Clippers last year, Shamet, right?
Yeah, Landry Shamet.
Shamet had right? It was him. I think it was him. I can't remember. I wish I could look, freaking computer. But Middleton has got to show up, right? Because the Bucks, outside of Giannis, their scoring is not like that consistent. And Giannis is going to get his. All right, so let me say this too. If Giannis doesn't have a huge series this year, I'm going to, as a big fan of him, as like his number one fan, number one.
Oh my God.
I will be very critical of him because they have nobody on that team that can kind of guard him. No one.
Right.
No one. They can't even build a wall like the Heat did or the Raptors did. Like they have no chance to stop Giannis. Giannis could literally average 40 points if he wanted in this series.
Yeah.
The other thing is Giannis might have to guard KD. Because I know Durant kind of shied away from getting guarded by PJ Tucker. Mom, and we talked about that. I don't know if you saw that. He didn't really want to be guarded by PJ because PJ was all over him, Zach. Did you watch?
Him.
If you watch, he was suffocating him. And Durant didn't like that. Whether it's, I don't think it's because he can't score on him, because Durant can probably score on anybody. I just think he didn't want to get tired. He didn't want to exert any effort doing it. But the thing is, Giannis might have to guard KD because he's probably going to be and I know he guarded him part of the time, but he might have to be primary because KD, you got to figure out a way to kind of slow down Kyrie or KD. And I think Giannis would be the best option. But then the problem is, how does that affect him on offense? Because usually when you get tired, you start shooting the ball instead of driving it.
Exactly.
Giannis isn't the best shooter. He's gotten better, but he's gotten better. If you're getting to a shootout with Giannis, I think we know who's going to win that game.
I'm looking at it right now. Giannis made more threes than Middleton did game one. Middleton went 0 for 5.
That's wild. Okay, that's wild.
The Bucks went 6 of 30 for 3 in game.
6 of 30. Well, there's the difference right there. I didn't look at that. That's the difference.
Yep, facts.
Right there. What was the Nets?
Nets shot like 40%, like 50.
Okay, that's There's the difference.
Right there. Milton's got to make some threes, bro. Got to make some shots, bro. He went 6 of 23 from the field as well.
He's got to make any shot. He's got to make some
shots, bro.
Because he's got to be decent.
They lost by 8. Yeah, come on. You gotta get it. You gotta get to your regular averages.
Now, if Harden plays though, this is probably a wrap.
Yeah, I don't think Harden plays.
I don't think he will either.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
Be a good series.
Really... Yeah.
Will, how many games do you think the series goes?
6.
For the Nets or the Bucks?
Yeah, for the Nets.
The Nets.
For the Nets. 6. Nets and 6.
Are you saying Nets and 6, Mo?
Yeah, I'd agree with Nets in 6.
All right.
I would like the Bucks to win.
I said Bucks in the 7, but that's just because you know. You know
Oh,
what?
wait. I want to say this out loud so you get this, Zach, so you don't have any confusion like you did with the Lakers Sun series. I think the Nets will win this series.
I know.
I want the Bucks to win this series.
I know the difference between think and.
Okay, I just want to
wanting to
make sure
win.
because in our chat there's just some confusion. I want to make sure.
Yeah.
I want the Bucks to. I want you to be right. I really want Giannis to freaking get it done.
All right. Facts.
Trade them.
Anything? I mean, Hawks, 76ers. We just talked about Clippers, Jazz. We just talked about.
We got to talk about the Hawks Knicks, bro.
Yeah. We talked about Nuggets, Suns, Bucks, Nets,
and the Blazers, Nuggets.
Yeah. Hawks, Knicks. We all picked the Knicks. Big rip.
Good Lord.
Julius Randle, your dude who won you guys money, most improved player, did not really show up that much in the playoffs. Yikes. And Trae Young.
Nah, he did his job.
Okay.
During the regular season.
I saw a tweet. What did they say? It was like, I can't remember what it was. Hilarious, but it was like Julius Randle is. I can't remember what it was. Damn. But Trae Young, I mean, that boy Trae Young, man. He put me to sleep. Man, he killed my take. I said Trae Young's overrated, but I mean, golly, he just tore apart the Knicks and took all the criticism and all the pressure from playing in the Knicks stadium with the Knicks fans, and he took it on his chip and used it as motivation. That's a dog mentality right there. I mean, I got to give props to Trae Young, despite the fact I think he's a little bit overrated. But if he can the fact that they just won game 1, 2 against the Sixers is impressive. So, I mean, it's hilarious because Trae wasn't an all-star this year. But he's certainly playing like one. Because, man, I mean, the boy went off. That's all I have to say. And he willed them to a win in the series over the Knicks. I don't think they're going to get past the Sixers here, but if they do, my God, Trae Young definitely a top 10 player in the league or something if he can get past Embiid and Ben Simmons like that.
Well, I was pumped the brakes on that, buddy.
I'm just saying.
I mean, it'd be impressive, Will, because the Knicks and 76ers are the top 2 rated defensive teams this season.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying, like, it's like with Jimmy Butler for one series. I'm not going to just say he's not top 30 or whatever.
That's true. That's also true. It'd be an impressive playoff debut or a playoff season debut. But, yeah, I'm disappointed in Thibs for not game planning better for Trae Young. I understand why after going down 3-1 or even 2-1, and you have the problem right there is Trae Young. Because of the pick and rolls, the high pick and rolls that they ran on you. And I don't know, just like I said, I think they should have played a zone at least if they're not going to, switch defenders on Trae Young, but they didn't. And game 5 in the Garden, same old thing. Hawks controlled the game, most of it.
Yep.
And Trae Young hit that dagger, took a bow. So, yeah, I mean, Julius Randle, disappointment. Derrick Rose didn't play good in game 5, but he did the whole series. RJ Barrett had a decent game 5. I don't know. Knicks maybe should find a number 1 option. Go for one of these big time free agents. Trade for Damian Lillard. Try to convince Kawhi to come over there. Because Julius Randle does not look like a number 1 option for a championship caliber team. But I hope they do something.
Oh man, I just googled Julius Randle on Twitter and they're tearing this man up still. Oh,
big yikes!
He said Logan Paul landed more shots than Julius Randle did. Oh hell no! Oh hell no!
Yikes!
Oh hell no!
Mr. Randle. Yeah, he was terrible. Derrick Rose was terrible in game 5. Here's the thing. I told you this, Mohammed. The thing was, when Derrick Rose was on, nobody else was on. then when Derrick Rose was off, the other
Right.
players were semi on.
Yep. That's true.
My issue with coaching also was they should have played through Derrick Rose the whole time. I said this to you last night, Mohammed. It's like they just kept playing through the same players that couldn't shoot. It's like, oh, maybe you'll just shoot your way out of this slump. Well, that's just not a feasible thing. Maybe in 82 games it is, but you've got 7 games. All right. So if somebody's having bad series, you got to figure it out pretty fast and just move on. There's got to be a different offense. But now I get it. Thibodeau's not really an offensive coach, but anybody really could see that Julius Randle was not. He had nothing going. RJ Barrett really had nothing going.
Yeah.
Emmanuel quickly, Reggie Bull.
Yeah.
Who else do they have?
Alec
that's
Burks.
like Alec Burks. Yeah, Alec Burks had a good game or two. I can't remember which ones, but he's not consistent. So those are the issues. And as I said with the Clippers, why did they not on defense? I mean, Clippers attacked Luka, and that helped them, but
yeah,
the whole offense runs through Trae Young. I mean,
Yep.
and I was looking at their roster yesterday, and I said it to Mohammed. They literally do have another point guard on their roster, a player that plays the point guard. There's not another one, at least that I saw. Maybe I was missing something, or in turn, maybe Paul will, but not really. So they're clueless. They have no offense when Trae Young's not on the court. Granted, why he played 40 minutes in basically every game, because they need him for offense. I don't think Trae Young's an overrated player. I think he's just a bad defender. I fact checked you as the worst defender in the league. He's not. He's the second worst. All right, just so so you know.
Who's first?
He's the second worst defender in the league. I couldn't remember. I think it was actually a player on the Knicks.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember off the top of my head. Just look up if you're really curious. I just googled worst defenders in NBA 2021 season, and I think it was like the first link I clicked on. But Trae Young controlled this series in every way, shape, and form. I mean, they couldn't stop his passing, they couldn't stop his floaters, his shooting. Last 2 games, really.
He didn't even shoot. Yeah.
But they had no answer for the rest of the team. And the Hawks are a well-rounded team. So as for the series against the Sixers, frankly, I'm pretty shocked they actually won a game at all. I thought probably the Sixers would sweep them, but I kind of have underestimated the Hawks. And I picked the Knicks to win the series against the Hawks because I wanted the Knicks to win. But as their fans started to annoy me, I wanted the Hawks to win. Which is usually how it goes. Fans get annoying, and then I just go for the other team when I don't really have a dog in the fight. I don't care. So, but for the Sixers, I mean, if Embiid is somehow able to keep this up, there's no way they should win this series. The Hawks shouldn't. They should not win the series.
You think this is one of those series where? My bad. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't think Embiid can do this. I think he's gonna get hurt.
Damn.
It's a partial tear of the meniscus. It takes a month to heal. Like the fact that he's playing through it, I just don't think it's sustainable. And given his history, I think he's going to get hurt this series, kind of like AD. And if that happens, then I think the Hawks have a shot.
Yep.
And I know they won game 1 with semi ease because they made a run at the end, but frankly they were killing them the whole game. Even with Embiid playing, but still, like I have to think there's no way that happens again if Embiid's going.
Facts.
Do you think it's one of those series where the Sixers come back and just blow them out 4 straight games?
Could be. I don't know. Let's ask Paul Pierce. Whatever he says in the opposite.
Oh man. Oh my God.
I mean, we talked about this last night. You look at roster to roster, it's just not even close, dude. The Hawks have good role players, but the Sixers have stars. Tobias Harris, I don't know if you call him a star, but he's really good if he's not a star. Ben Simmons, star. Joel Embiid, star. Seth Curry, not a star, but he's really elevated himself this playoff so far. Dwight
Mhm.
Howard, an elite defensive player behind an elite defensive player in Joel Embiid. I mean, I'm forgetting everybody else off the top of my head, but
Danny Green.
Danny Green. Can't believe I forgot
Maurice
him.
Thybulle.
And they're actually playing Thibault in the playoffs so far. So like, to me, it shouldn't be a series. It really shouldn't.
Yep, I looked it up. Anthony Simons from the Blazers.
What team is it? Oh, it's the Blazers. Yeah.
I'm surprised
you're right.
Blazers.
Yeah.
Trae Young was second though.
So surprised the Blazers have a bad defender on there.
Oh my God. Yeah, rip Blazers. Man, they choked against this Nuggets. Choked away this Nuggets series, man. Oh man. Will making me eat my words again. I said, Blazers aren't the Dodgers, aren't the chokers of this league, and then bam. Besides Dame, nobody else really came through in the clutch. But
in the clutch, how about just at all?
We were just talking about the Hawks. Yeah, I think the Hawks were up big in that game one, I think, and then the Sixers almost came back. And that's not going to happen again, right? It's going to be a close game later, and the Sixers will close it out later because that's just the way they're built. So I think they'll come back and win this in 5 or 6 games, I think. But we'll see. And maybe the Hawks will get and you never know. Maybe Trae Young will awaken his inner Stephen Curry and lead his team to the promised land and just be on fire this whole playoffs.
Lead his team.
He doesn't have a KD.
They both just
or Clay. They bail him out in
They
game
both
6.
just rolled their eyes so hard.
Lead his team.
Oh man.
I'd lead and go for Steph Curry this season.
Oh my God! What do you mean? He was
didn't make the playoffs.
Oh come on! Not with that roster. Come on, man.
Oh, Andrew Wiggins, Kelly Oubre.
All you had to do was just beat the Grizzlies. That's all you had to do.
Oh my God!
Apparently, there's too much to ask for Steph Curry.
For Adam Silver. I need to take care of Adam Silver. Why didn't he give the Warriors that seed? People would have been watching the Jazz Warriors series if it had happened. Nobody was watching the Grizzlies Jazz one.
That's true.
I'm coming for you. No. For that, but no.
Yeah.
I think that's a good
Adam when we post this.
Do we have anything else? I think that's good to wrap on. But
I gotta talk about this Nuggets Blazers.
Blazers. Sorry. I was about to say,
Zach.
yeah. You gotta hop on it. You gotta hop on it.
I'm sorry for you.
Go ahead, do your thing. Well, I know you're about to smoke the Blazers.
Yeah.
I'm about to. Yeah. Every year I say this. Most underachieving team ever, or in the NBA right now. I don't know about ever, and I think they're overrated at this point because their roster is good enough. They should have won this series. Without Jamal Murray, their team is better. They are a better team than the Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
And Dame was great. He wasn't really great in the last game, but CJ wasn't. Really, nobody was. They were. Well, here's my issue with the last game. Right, they were up like 15 or 16 points, and like at the end of the third, and then out of nowhere at the start of the fourth, they're up like 2. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wait, how does this happen? You can't let that happen. But the Blazers, bro. And Dame's finally figuring out. Mohammed's having a fit right now. I know. Dame is finally figured out. He said, he's like, we're just not good enough. He's finally realizing they're just not good enough. All right. I don't blame Dame. Oh, Mohammed's just he doesn't like this.
I'm tired, bro.
He's genuinely yawning.
Yeah.
Just a regular yawn. I agree with everything you're saying right now, Phil. For real.
I kind of want Dame to leave. But part of me does. Part of me blames him for this, and I said this back when he signed his massive deal. I told you guys that this is gonna ruin the roster. I mean, it was because him and CJ, him and CJ asked for an absurd amount of money, and I don't know if CJ is quite worth what he got. He's kind of like a Chris Middleton to me, maybe a little bit better or worse depending on the day.
Yeah.
But the other issue was Nurkic couldn't handle Jokic. He just couldn't handle him, bro. Like it wasn't even that he couldn't. it wasn't like he could do one thing. It was he could do nothing. He could give you nothing. He could give you 5 fouls. That's what he could give you, and bench minutes. And then the other thing is Michael Porter Jr. That man is coming. He is a great player. I mean,
Stepped up, man.
He's really the reason they won the last game, you could say, for the most part, because I mean the Nuggets are well rounded, but like Michael Porter Jr. got them going. He hit big time
He had like
shots.
7 threes, right?
Yeah. So I mean, the Blazers are at it again. Another year, another time losing as the favorite. I mean, it's the story of their franchise right now to me. Outside of losing to the Warriors the one year, they have lost to a team they were favored to beat every year.
Well, this is the 4th time in the last 5 years they've gone out the first round. So, and that one year they didn't. Yeah, the one year
went to the conference
finals. Yeah.
So maybe that's their thing is they just got to get out of the first round and then they'll immediately they'll get to the conference finals.
Yeah.
I mean,
at least
I'm sorry.
The first step right. They fired the coach. I think he's one of the main problems. Yeah.
Their roster is just too good. Like even Carmelo's coming to life. Like he did for sure. Showing old day Carmelo. So it's like they've got 3 pretty legitimate scorers on that team. I mean Nurkic is usually a decent scorer. I don't really know what's going on with him. Ever since he got hurt like 2 years ago, it seems like he doesn't know how to play.
Yeah, his injuries taking a toll on him.
Yeah.
That's tough, man.
I think they should just blow it up, man. All they gotta do is just get Dame with some new pieces.
Yeah.
And Dame should start recruiting. Maybe he can recruit Kawhi out of the Clippers if they end up disappointing against the Jazz or something. But
that'd be fun.
That's all they can. Yeah, that's all. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say before we end, I wanted to ask you guys: had you guys heard the rumors that Dame to Lakers? Had you heard those?
Oh, well, everybody's been hearing that, right?
I've heard,
I've
heard that, but Lakers.
What?
I don't know. I don't think it's gonna happen because
is there any legitimacy to it?
I mean, they've been talking about.
They're going to trade for him. They don't really have the assets to trade.
Right.
Yeah.
I say the best team to have the assets to trade for Dame right now is the Warriors, just because of the picks they have and all the young talent they have too.
The Thunder.
Or the Thunder too, but those are 2 teams that don't really need them.
He's not gonna go to them.
Yeah, the Lakers don't have any picks, right?
The Knicks, the Lakers don't have picks either. Yeah,
that's what. No, I said the Lakers. The Lakers have no picks, so.
Oh yeah, the Lakers don't know.
I mean,
so what did they trade? They literally have to give up
Drummond, right?
Drummond. That's true.
Drummond, Kuzma, Harrell, Schroeder. Oh, not
they
Schroeder.
They could get it done. I think they could give up Drummond and Harrell. And maybe a pick or something, and that because it depends on the mindset of the Blazers. Bro. Well, it depends. It depends because if the Blazers are just like, "Hey, we're calling it quits and we're gonna tank," that might be enough. Because usually when teams are quit, then they're willing to give up a star player for less.
Yeah,
I think that's the case. I think if Dame went up to them and said, "Yo, I think my time up here is done," then yeah, and for sure they can probably find something with the Lakers, but. If Dame doesn't want to get traded and he just wants a new coach and maybe some better teammates, obviously, then
it's not gonna
happen. I don't think the Lakers have the assets. No, someone had to come up with a really good deal for the Blazers to trade him.
Facts.
But you can say that for anybody,
right?
That's fair. Trade CJ.
I'm saying just trade. I think they should trade Nurkic, CJ, and what's his name, Zach Collins, because Zach Collins he's a decent player. He's a good shooting big man, but he's injury prone, just like Nurkic.
I keep Carmelo at all costs. I'm serious because even though he may not be what he was, he's a veteran and he can score and he can lead. So, I'm keeping him if I can. So,
I hope they do that, man, for real. Because this is too many chances they've blown. Losing to the Nuggets without Jamal Murray, bro. Come on.
Yeah, for real, dude. Honestly.
Yeah.
And it's not like even Jokic had like an unbelievable series.
Yeah, he had like 2 really good games. The rest were just, Jokic, regular numbers.
Yeah, exactly. So facts. It's catch-22.
Oh my
The
god.
Bulls coming up next year, so it don't really matter what they do. Bulls running the East, running the
Ah.
NBA.
Let's go.
Levine
Bulls
dropping
winning the
30 a
East.
game. What's his name? Vucevic averaging 20-10. And if we sign some free agents, get Lonzo's gonna be averaging 10 assists, gonna lead the league in assists. Patrick Williams gonna be the next Kawhi, you know what I'm saying? Thaddeus Young gonna do his thing. What's his name? Garrett Campbell gonna be the next Joe Harris, you know what I'm saying? Who else? Who's off the bench? Marklin's not gonna be there, so forget him.
Thank God.
Kobe White, oh my God, Kobe White, the next Steph Curry, man. You know what I'm saying? The next Trae Young, you know what I'm saying? And assists, maybe some 5 threes a game. I don't know, man. Just we're gonna do our thing. Don't worry. Number one team in the East, man.
The way this man while was rubbing his hands together.
We'll go crazy next season, man. I can't wait. Billy O, Donovan gonna lead us to the promised land. I'm saying.
Oh,
man, number 7 incoming. Man, number 7 loading.
Three teams are coming. 3 teams in the playoffs will come from that division.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, Central Division, best division in the whole NBA. You know what I'm saying? Bucks, Bulls, and Pistons or Cavs. One of those 2 is getting in. Actually, matter of fact, 4 teams. I'm sorry, the Pacers are getting in.
Oh my God.
In fact, I'm going to just say 4 or 5 teams will come from the Central. All 5 of them are making it, or 4 of them are.
You pushing it, my guy.
All right.
No, I'm serious. Pacers are going to make it. They're going to get freaking Karras back. They got Malcolm Brogdon.
No, Pacers. Yeah, I agree with Pacers. They're going to be a good decent
Exactly.
team.
So they're going to get 3 in for sure. And then the Pistons and the Cavs, you never know. I mean, freaking Colin Sexton.
Cavs are decent.
Who am I forgetting? Darius Garland.
Yeah, Garland. I mean, Jared Allen.
They could do it, bro.
Yeah, they have a decent squad.
It could happen.
If they could trade Kevin Love, they can get some decent players for Kevin Love.
Wait, matter of fact, no, it's not going to be 5, dude. The Pistons were the worst team in the NBA this year. That's not going to happen. Never mind. It's 4. It's 4. It's right. Write it down, Zach. Put it down. It's 4 teams making it from the Central Division and the East. It's happening. I can't wait.
What it take?
Whole damn year.
What it take to end it? Episode 19.
Whole year.
Appreciate y'all. Bulls up next. But
yes, sir.
Bulls got next. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
All right. Peace.
YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. See y'all later.
Peace out.